Greetings everyone, and Grade here for another Call of War 2 replay. Spawn on the north side as the Chaos Lord, we have Pax. Spawn on the south side as the biggest and the strongest, we have Critical 32-bit. Or just 32. We now have the sluggers capture the left side. Or, no, that's the right side. On the other left side, we have the shooters. On this left side, we do have the Chaos Lord, and in the middle left side, we do have the Heretics captured the central power point. Heretics going to be captured at the points. We've got the Chaos Marines advancing forward. We've got two shooters for the Warboss, more Heretics for the Chaos Lord, so pretty standard build openers for both players. Chaos Lord's captured some points, very nice. And these 2 points being captured up as well. Shooters now advancing to support the Warboss.
Your units fulfill your command.
And now the shooters will find the first strike. It does get some damage down the Chaos Lord, knocking him down 50% health, or reduces health by 50%. We've got the Warboss engaging the Chaos Marines. Now the Heretics are trying to charge forward, trying to tie up some of these shooters up in melee. Chaos Lord's will be eyeing for that shooter squad. Both shooter squads are being pursued. Warboss is pursuing the Chaos Marines, however. Warboss has a bit of a beating. Nothing too significant. We've got another power generator being deployed on out. Very nice. And the shooters still being pursued. They'll have these shooters manage to back away a little bit to allow them to start shooting onto the Chaos Marines, or Chaos Heretics. And now you got some Storm Boys. Oh no, those are Ludas. I always get the icon of the Ludas and Storm Boys mixed up with these really small UI scaling. I really need to figure out a way how to make the UI scaling bigger. That's probably something really stupid, simple way of doing it. Probably some sort of Steam launch command. It's just that I just don't know it. Because this is incredibly small. Look, there's a button up here to change the scaling of the cursor. Because honestly, in computers too, where they don't have the capability, it's really hard to see the cursor when you have a 4K monitor. We do know how the Chaos Lord received a bit of fire from these shooters. Chaos Marines and the Heretics now trying to pursue the sluggers. And this Chaos Marine squad does fall back. Chaos Lord's now advancing forward. We have the Warboss capture the central VP, and we got the Ludas now go on the field. Sluggers now trying to pursue the Heretic squad. Shooters advancing forward. Sluggers in support as well. The Sluggers, the Ludas, if they were to set up in a good position, say right around here, they should be able to find some maximum coverage in the center of the map. With those Ludas on the map, his opponent may need to go off some Raptors. As much as I'm not a big fan of Raptors, this may be one of the few times where I'll say go for them. I don't like Raptors. They don't scale all too well in my opinion. Grenades raining on in, gets good damage there. Though, didn't Raptors now... Oh yeah, Raptors can, I believe, now have a bit of upgrade potential as well, where they can get out melter guns. Jumping melter guns sounds like a fun unit. Just got one of the power generators there. Grenades raining on in and behind the heavy cover there, though the other guys are armed with assault rifles, so putting them on the front line wouldn't hurt as well. Is there some sort of WOG banner? I see this aura effect there. Nope, it's the boss bowl. I see that aura effect there. The boss bowl dignifies him as the boss.
Give ground to the enemy. Fight harder.
Over here, you got this Heretic point decapturing of the VP. And more grenades raining on in, getting some great AoE splash damage. Heretics now sort of backing off from the shooter fire. And now I've got these Ludas pushing me forward. Does get a nice knockback there from the Heretics. Oh yeah, how did I forget the knockback grenades? You don't need Raptors when you have knockback grenades from Heretics. Chaos Lords are now advancing forward. These forces all getting corralled into this little choke point here. Burno's trying to deal with the Heretics. Heretics do get some damage on this power generator, but right now the Orc's not in a great position. He's pretty wounded. The Warboss is down the front line. Shooters getting some good damage, but both the shooters are wounded. The Slugger needs to fall back. Burnos do fall back now. The Shooters are severely wounded. They may need to fall back for better reinforcements. And do have more grenades running on it. They're also pretty stacked up, so the grenades will do some good AoE damage. Assault rifle's not pushing forward. Of course, the Aspired Champion itself does get the bolter gun. Great damage there on the Luda, and now the Chaos Lord's going to take the opportunity to advance forward. Luda needs a full withdrawal at this point in time. Shooters are sustained too much splash damage there. Now they've got the burners of Warboss now advancing forward. And Tier 2 will be on the rebuild queue there for the Warboss. Grenades running on in. Havocs have been put out for the Chaos Lord. The Warboss may be able to flank and get a good hit there. Burners are getting a good flank as well. And the burners are advancing on forward. You got the Combine Flamer upgrade on the Chaos Lord. And now the burners and the Warboss is trying to engage these weapons. Heretics or the shooters should be reinforcing as well and probably make their advance soon. If they're making the advance now, they're going past the power generator. You have the Chaos Marines getting some good damage there on the burners. The burner squad may get fully wiped down. Down the one less model there at 3-0 health. So he does lose the burner squad, so now he no longer has access to any sort of repairs. So he may want to avoid, at the time being, deploying out War Truck unless you can get out Slopes at the same time. The Warboss is not very good for wrench. He probably does better at wrenching than wrench is. Does get a nice Combine Flamer burst there onto these shooters. Luda does get splashed a little bit as well, or singed a little bit. It's not water, it's fire. Demon fire, but still fire. Chaos Marines advance forward. He is going for a Death Dread, so after that he will make out a first Slugger. Having a Slugger out, Sluggers are relatively cheap and go around and use them as a capping squad. He is not needed for repairs. Heretics trying to pursue the Luda. The Luda does fall back. And the shooters are quite wounded as well. He needs to fall back sooner rather than later as well. Warboss is receiving quite a bit of bolter fire. There's no Eternal War upgrade on the Chaos Marines either. And also the Orcs in full retreat barring this squad. Oh, he did rebuild his Sluggers. Very nice. We do now have the Death Dread deployed on the field. A nice big Stompa, and the Warboss does get hit, stopped there for a moment thanks to the Heretics.
Our temple's dark majesty grows without
Death Dread now being upgraded to Burna and Blitz, which is very similar to Dash and Dine. And that was a horrible joke. Or Dine and Dash. Oh, I can't even get my jokes right.
you give ground to the enemy.
Shooting style advancing forward. It looks like the wounded squad is going out for the central requisition point there. This one's going for another requisition point. And the Death Dread is going straight for the power generators. The BPs are very similar at the moment. The Orc has 492, the Chaos Lord has 422. Small difference, honestly. And now it looks like the Death Dread is going to eye just to smash down the power nodes since it's tied up in melee. Can't burn down the power generator just yet. And it looks like going to go and punch or assault and destroy the power generator. You now have a Plague Marine on the field. He's going to stomp his way away. More hits there from the Plague Marine squad. Does stomp his way around that line of sight blocker there. Shooter now receives some hits there from the Chaos Lord and does decide to burn the shooter squad. He's late response there for the shooter squad. Now receives a bit of fire from everything and does go down. Warboss not being upgraded the Power Claw as well as the Cyborg implants, increasing his health and health regen and replaces Stomp with a big Stomp. Great knockback grenade on those forces there. Slugger now advancing forward. And the Chaos Lord is currently stunned right there. The Warboss is severely wounded. Now got temporary blood layers letting some blood. And now the Warboss does in fact go down there. The boys are trying. Gets some good damage from the Chaos Lord. The Chaos Lord does fall back. Shooters does receive a bit of fire there. No big shooter nor knob upgrade on either of those shooters. The one that went down as well as this one. Which is sort of interesting. You should see the big shooter upgrade on the shooters. You must be skipping out on that, which also meant that probably he lost a couple squads because of that. Looks like both the Warboss has been redeployed, and now the Slugger Squad is getting reinforced as well. As we go to the Flamos, Ludas don't need their beamy death gun just yet. They're going to be fighting against Bloodletters very soon. Now these Plague Marines advancing forward. They'll get some damage on the Warboss, nothing too significant. Warboss now closing this there. Does get a good special attack there on the Plague Marines. And now with the big stomp. Now stomps the Chaos Lord, and it's going to avoid the Chaos Lord to whack apart those Plague Marines. The Chaos Lord has now been guarding the armor of the Inferno, giving him a more or less a mid-range artillery barrage ability. Heretics do close the distance on the Luda Squad, forces them back. And now we finally got the Eternal War upgrade as well. Rituals being activated there. Trying to fire away against the power generator, and now we've got a weird boy. Death Dread still on the field. And we've got one power generator going down. Plague Marines now in the mix as well, getting some great damage there. If the Death Dread's able to engage the Plague Marines in melee, that would be great for the Death Dread. Or the Burners, something to tie up the Plague Marines with melee. That missile is the only thing I believe that can pose a threat to the Death Dread. Yep, that's it. You can upgrade the Chaos Marine to get out a Melt-Up pistol, which is not going to be really that useful. Great vomit there, knocking back those horses. Here comes a big stomp as well, getting some good stones as well. The Warboss is going for a lot of crowd control. With not only with that, also has a weird boy for knockbacks as well. There's a lot of crowd control effects for the Warboss. Of course, make the entire army without either side really staying a whole lot of damage. Or in this heretic. Our node does go down as well, and now the Death Dread does nothing for him to stomp on. You can always go for the last cannon upgrade on the Havoc squad. Now that's a fresh Havoc squad, I should mention.
A requisition point is slipping away.
He's a little bit low in resources, so maybe that's one reason why he has not gone for the last cannon just yet. You could try also the autocannon as well, but I'm not a huge fan of the autocannon, honestly. I don't feel like it packs enough punch versus infantry targets to make it really worthwhile, in my opinion. Shooter squad now falling, or should be falling back. Spider getting fully wiped there. Almost getting wiped out, down to 9 health, as little as 4 health. And it does get a nice special attack there with the Death Dread saving the shooter. Warboss now full withdrawing, down to 100 and something health. And may hit some hits there, down to 36, as little as 36. And the Orc forces do manage to fall back without getting any wipes on them. Though this heretic may get wiped out. No, it does not. All power generators have been destroyed here. All power generators have been destroyed here. So both sides are low in power. Death Dread has received quite a bit of fire, as well as some missile hits. Another missile hit now. Now the Death Dread's trying to get some more line side blocks there. He may try to stomp his way forward in order to time him up in melee. There's a nice knockback there thanks to the weird boy. I probably would have just had the slug just engage the Plague Marine up in melee. Grenades now raining on in, or knockback grenades as well. Nice try with the preemptive knockback grenades there, but it was just unsuccessful. Chaos Marines captured at this point. The VPs are in favor of the Orcs by a fair margin, as double capture in their favor as well. Weird Boys do find a good hit there. And now we do got some Storm Boys, some late Storm Boys. More knockbacks there. Death Dread is in this region. Death Dread should be able to stomp through this wall, right? Good knockback there. We do got the Warboss down half health. And now got the Electric Galaxy Burn ability right there, getting a great barrage. Good hit there. And now we got the Plague Marines getting tied up in melee there. We've got temporary blood letters being pulled on now. The squad is blood letters. We've got involvement on top of the blood letters. And the Stormboys jumping up forward as well, trying to get the squad on retreat. Should be able to escape on out of there. Warboss does get a nice big stomp there, sticking out with 120 health remaining. The Havoc squad is trying to run away for their lives. Bloodletters trying to tie up the Stormboys in melee. And thanks to this ritual there, this Havoc squad is getting some great mobility there, but gets knocked back there by the Weaver Folly. Bloodletters still trying to pursue the Stormboys, and you probably need to read this target. Chaos Marines in this region as well, getting some damage onto the Death Dread. And now the ritual is going to be slowly picked apart right there. The others are now trying to engage that can. And now the Heretic squad is seeing quite a bit of fire. This down to the champion. Down to 9 health and charging his way forward. 6 health, 2 health. 3 health, 1 health, dead health. But the Plague Marines does get a good shot there as well. Trading a Death Dread for a Heretic like that, even if it's fully upgraded, not a good idea. Death Dread now seeing quite a bit of fire. Even the Bloodletters melee hits pose a threat to it. Death Dread is down to 1 health and dead. Not a good trade there. Big stomp push comes forward. The Bloodletters use their vulnerability ability right there, and does manage to get one of those models stunned there. And now we're seeing some more fire. The ritual has been activated, so the Bloodletters will receive some extra health regen. Now this point's being captured by the Sluggers. Bloodletters do teleport forward, trying to get some good damage there onto the Judah squad. You got a ritual right there as well. Slugs now advancing forward, trying to get some good damage on in. That's just what's called swap ability, if I remember correctly. And now the Bloodletters now trying to engage the Sluggers of the melee. The Sluggers not doing all too well. Stormboys get a nice knockback there onto the Heretics. You also have the Havoc suppressing them. Does enable the Mauls there, which does do a nice knockback. And the Stormboys will need to fall back sooner rather than later. Heretic squad see quite a bit of fire. Heretic squad down to 1 last model, down to 3 health, 1 health, and dead. So all Heretics are down. No one has any repairs. He's going for a Chaos Dreadnought. And you got another Death Dread being employed on out. Both sides are just eyeing for just tier 2, no tier 3 for either player. Stormboys do jump away, and now full withdrawing. Shooters now base forward. They have upgraded the Knob Leader and the big shooters. Great special attack there on the Plague Marines, knocking him back. And now we've got the Weird Boy advancing forward. Bloodletters right there. Havoc's up with a good angle. We got now the Chaos Dreadnought. Not sure what type of variant he's planning to go for. Havoc does find a brief burst there. And the Chaos Lord and the Warboss can engage in melee. I believe the Warboss should be a win out. He's much more upgraded, has more melee weapons focus, while the Chaos Lord has more of a spellcaster focus. We got another ritual there. We got the Death Dread getting tied up melee by the Bloodletters, even though they're not very good versus Death Dread. At least can still interrupt the pathing. Havoc squad does get knocked back there. Havoc squad is severely wounded. Good missile launch hit there on the Death Dread. Plague Marines does get some good damage. Chaos Dread not gains close range to that auto cannon. Another missile launcher hit there onto the Death Dread, which is very, very important. Stormboys now tying up the Plague Marines up the melee. Plague Marines managed to sprint away. And Death Dread does go down. More bomb has been vomited on in. And we also have the temporary Bloodletters as well. Oh, we do now have a beamy death gun fly up with the Looters. Very, very nice. But the Bloodletters do say hi. And now the Looters getting ripped apart by the Bloodletters. And that beamy death gun does go down. Warboss does have, of course, the weapon effect versus vehicles, the Power Claw. And now the Dreadnought's very prone to being wiped out. Warboss still has now down to half health. It does fall back, unable to secure the kill. I don't think that second death shot is a good idea. He knows with the Plague Marines, and it just did not do all too well. Warboss is falling back. Got the Blooders here, capturing this VP. Oh, the Chaos Lord's down to minimal VPs. Does get a nice stun there on the Bloodletters. Thanks to the Knob Leader. And now the Bloodletters are falling back. Chaos Marines are falling back with the Chaos Heretics advancing forward. And now the Sluggers may need to get forced on back. One Heretic squads just fall back. Wait, are there both two Heretic squads? Does he rebuild both his Heretic squads? No, that's just a Chaos Marine. Needs that Chaos Heretic to start repairing up that Chaos Dreadnought. Needs quite a bit of time for that. But she doesn't really have time for that. If he forfeits too much map control, then his opponent will get a quick, easy VP victory. Chaos Lord now receiving quite a bit of fire there. Got the Ritual being activated as well, so no repairs for the Dreadnought. Weird Boy now pushes his way forward, trying to get a nice attack on somewhere. The Weird Boy fires a round there onto the Ritual. A lot of weapons here, units here that can engage that Dreadnought, especially with its low health. Good missile launch hit there from the Tank Busters, but the Galaxy Ground has come on in, knocking back most of those Tank Busters. Another good hit there. Bombs on top of those forces, very nice. Now the Warboss charging forward, trying to get out for a big stomp. Now it's time for a big stomp. Getting a great stun there as well, even some of those Bloodletters. And now this force is now falling back. Warboss trying to rip apart that Dreadnought. Is very, very wounded, so need health remaining. There is, of course, the heavy bolted turrets. The Warboss is now suppressed. He's still not retreating back the Dreadnought enough, and the Warboss is fully withdrawing now. More Tank Busters being put up by the Warboss. Stormboys jump on in. Does get a nice stun there onto the Bloodletters. The Chaos Lord does get forced back from the Sluggers. Right now, it's a double capture in favor of the Chaos Lord. There's still a lot of VPs that his opponent has. Like Marines will find a shot there. And it's got these shooters now advancing forward. One of the squads taking buses now deployed on the field. And the Plague Marines are tying up the shooters up in melee, and I think the Plague Marines actually do win out in melee that. They're both not melee squads. So I generally have no idea who actually wins that. Havoc does get stunned there by the Storm Boys. Chaos Dreadnought still needs some much needed repairs. The Slugger squad does fall back now. And you got a Mortar Barrage raining on in. Fails to knock back on any of those forces. Weird Boy does get a nice knockback there on the Bloodletters. Chaos Lord still does not have a grenade slot item. Or charm slot, whatever that slot's generally called. Chaos Lord advancing forward, getting some good damage there onto the Tank Busters now. Good attack there onto the Bloodletters. The Chaos Lord is going to be decapturing this VP. There's a capture against the Chaos Lord, so right now that's not looking good for him. Slugger's going to try to interrupt the capture. They at least did something to decapture there, but a couple of Sluggers now push way forward and does stun the Chaos Lord there. Nothing threatening the right VP as well, so it looks the Chaos Lord's going to be bleeding off a lot of VPs, and he does not have enough to afford to lose any of them. Heretic does detonate one of the mauls there, suppressing the Storm Boys. The Warboss may be eyeing for the big stomp right there. This is going to be a very good big stomp. Yeah, massive knockback, including stunning those bloodletters. It seems like... Wait, is there 5 bloodletters models there? Am I miscounting? Oh no, there's 2 bloodletter squads. So there's 2 bloodletter squads on the field. That's a lot of melee. And the Warboss is now falling back. That many melee units there. Maybe a good idea if we go for spiky armor for some retaliation damage. Think Parson says, nope, I don't want to be near bloodletters. But especially that one guy, watching all of his buddies died. These Chaos Marines, full wipe right there. They were just so low in health, like wondering, is that going to be a wipe? And it was. Storm Boys need to do a close range jump here to stun these bloodletters. The Weird Boy is very, very vulnerable right now. Could get some vomit there, and nope, decides to fall back with all the squads. Let's lose the Knob Leader as well. Got the Bloodletters now teleporting forward, and the Slugger Squad is seeing quite a bit of fire. Storm Boys do jump on forward. And the Slugger's now down to one last model. Blood Marines have captured the right VP, very nice. Now I got the Think Busters getting some good damage there. Melee units are advanced forward trying to get some good damage as well. Looks like got more temporary bloodletters to put on out. These bloodletters do get stunned out of its way, getting knocked around quite a bit. But you got these sluggers, or no, they're stick bombers right in the mix of everything. But the Galaxy Burns activating, getting some great damage across everything. I think we're not eyeing for this VP. There's double capture against the Orcs where they have VPs to spare. Vomit does get vomited out, was unsuccessful. Chaos Lord now seeing lots of fire there. Does get a nice attack there, getting some much needed health. And the Chaos Lord is falling back. Going this VP could be very important. The Chaos Dreadnought's finally being repaired on up and has been upgraded the Mark of Khorne.
Do not lose your requisition point.
Like we're gonna capture that point. Victory point is not being pursued by the Orcs. Well, let's push on way forward. We got the Warboss now fully withdrawing as well. Mass retreat coming on out. Teleports right there. A great knockback there on the bloodletters. And it looks like the burner squad does fully go down. Slugger squad is now wiped out. We've got another Slugger squad in the field who doesn't really need them. Doesn't need the repairs. One of the tank busters have also been wiped out in the mix of everything.
This is not the victory you promised us.
Now Bowler is teleporting forward. He does get at least a point decaptured before retreating. Or jumping away and retreating.
Close combat.
Orcs now starting along the advancing the left flank. We've got the Chaos Dreadnought in this region. Tank busters do fire a lot of rockets into the ground. And the Warboss and the Chaos Lord coming face forward. Does do a tank buster barrage there. Gets some decent damage from the Chaos Dreadnought. Good damage there. Do also got a wall banner to put him out. The Warboss may use his big stomp. Yeah, it does utilize his big stomp there. Even getting the Chaos Lord right there is very important. Stick bombs not throwing out. There's a stun grenades there. Tank busters do fall back. Shooters now firing away. Massive engagement here. But those bloodletters are charging forward. We've got now the Berserk mode of the Chaos Dreadnought. The Blood Rage ability. Stick bombs are about to go down. More temporary bloodletters being pushed on forward. I'm not sure what's left, honestly. The Orc looks like he is getting forced back largely. Stormboy's now charging forward, trying to capture this VP. Chaos Dreadnought's trying to stop them, so is the Heretics. Got the temporary bloodletters getting knocked around. Warboss down below half health. Both sides not doing all too well. At this point will be held by the Orcs. The tank busters could try to eye towards this VP. That VP's unsecure at the moment. And now the Storm Boys are falling back. They do capture that point, stolen out the game right now.
You are failing your gods. We have the requisition point.
Now the requisition point has been captured. And we've got the Plague Marines getting some good damage there onto the Wog Banner. Wog Banner does go down. It looks like it did take some damage over time as well. Interesting. Who would have known that a giant hole can be poisoned to death? Maybe those rounds are more acidic than poisonous. You now have the stun grenades raining on it. Does get some of the heretics. Multiple blooders here. Stick bombs now charging forward as well. Does get some good special attacks there and some bloodletters. Mass vomit there, not really that successful. Stormboys charge on in, getting some good stuns across the line as well. You're now the Dreadnought pushes way forward. The bloodletters now charging forward as well. Stick bombs getting some damage on in. Tank causes not sure where they're at to engage that Dreadnought. The right VP has been captured on up. Gets good damage there on the Plague Marines. Stick bombs charging forward. The stick bombs will go down. This VP is being decaptured. The Orc is whittling away his opponent's VP numbers. Looks like they got the shooters, but the Galaxy Burn has been activated. Gets a good hit there. And he may need to fully withdraw right now.
Our Chaos Lord has reached level.
Just when he started capture that point, getting a triple capture against his opponent will be very, very important. And then right now, the Orc player is sustaining a lack of any sort of income. This one has right now larger force and superior income. This is not looking good for the Orcs.
This is not the victory you promised us.
Chaos Lord is eventually goes down. It's down to 39 health, but nope, looks like he will escape on out of there. It's a level 8 Chaos Lord. That's a lot of levels. Health at over 1500. Warboss is only level 6 and his health is at 1300. Shooters now advance forward. Stun grenades there, nailing these forces. In fact, landed early since they hit that bit of ground there. You can throw some stick bombs right there. That should be a very good spot to throw stick bombs, but nope, he was a little bit late on that. Bloodletters do force back the shooter squad there. Chaos Dreadnought gains good damage on in. Warboss has plenty of health. Maybe trying to go straight for the VP. The right VP is uncontested right now. And we've got the weird boys falling back, seeing too much damage there. Bloodletters forcing back the stick bombs. And this point's now being captured up by the Warboss. These forces are now falling back. Why did he back out of the game? I guess he didn't want to stick around a little bit longer. He could have potentially held out that VP a little bit longer, but it looks like he's actually backed out of the game entirely. Well, looks like the Chaos Lord has won. This is Anna Grade saying thank you for watching, and on to the next replay.